Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is April Johnson, and I am a graduating senior, and I'm here to discuss my final presentation for psychology as a profession. Here's my paper from which I will be discussing everything from. Um, so first, I would like to begin off with why I chose the field of psychology. I chose the field of psychology because I was interested in discovering why people behaved in a certain manner and the triggers that caused those. But throughout my courses here at Central, I've come to realize that I want to go on a different path. So I'm leaning more towards going into the field of social work after I graduate. That's my real passion. I want to be able to give people all around help, not just when it comes to mental. I want to be able to help with the social part, the mental part, and the physical part as well. So that is the reason why I want to go into the field of psychology. And my main interest will be working with children. So I'm thinking child welfare as well when it comes to social work. My heart really tugs at children because they don't ask to be here. So I feel like it's my duty to make sure that they have the necessary resources to make their life better, even if their parents are not in a predicament. I feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that they have the best options and to provide them with those. Um, my strengths when it comes to academic and professional, I would say my biggest strength is being focused and persistent. I am the type of person where I don't quit until I finish something. I don't like starting things unless I know that I will be able to finish them. My biggest weakness is I will have to say patience. I am a very time stricken person. I do not like to wait on others, and I I feel like if I have to wait on you, I could rather just do it myself and go ahead and get it done. So I would have to say my biggest weakness is patience. Um, and my weakest when it comes to academic is testing. I have extreme anxiety when it comes to testing. I have been on the AB honor roll since I've been in school, so I feel like everything has to be perfect. And I don't like to accept anything less than an A. So I get a lot of anxiety when it comes to testing because I just want an A. So that will be my biggest weakness. I have to know that if I give it my best and that's all I can ask for, that's what all I can give is my best. So if sometimes it doesn't come out to be an A, I have to be okay. Well, bro, you gave it your best. Let's move forward, and how can you do better from this point? My biggest opportunity that I have had since I've been here at NCCU, I will have to say my sophomore junior year, ending sophomore, beginning junior year, I interviewed for the Thurgood Marshall College Foundation, the Leadership Institute, and it's basically a business um, lead institute or a conference where they go around to select students, and they have this big conference where they have Fortune 500 companies come in and teach them different things of business aspects, and they at the end of the conference you are have the opportunity of getting a internship. While I did that, I didn't get accepted, but I it was kind of one of those things like I'm gonna just try it and see what happens. I really didn't give it my all like I was supposed to, and I feel like if I had a good opportunity of doing that because most of the people, like I said, were business majors. So being that I was a psychology major interested in that, it showed that I was willing to step out my box. And the reason that I wanted to interview for that Leadership Institute is because I feel like even if I'm not business oriented, I feel like I can learn something from it. And even if I wanted to open my own practice, there's different things that I needed to know that I wouldn't learn within the psychology department. So that is why one of the reasons why I wanted to interview for the conference. And I also was a business major before I went into the field of psychology. Um, it was kind of a struggle for me when it came to like the financial part. I'm not a good person at math. Even though it was basic math, it's more to it, and I just couldn't get it. So I was like, well, let me go in a different route. So that's why I went over into the field of psychology. Um, when we did our self-assessment, there were several tests that we had to go over, and one of the testing that I think I was more surprised about was the learning environment. It came up to be social and um, solidarity learning. I was really surprised because I'm not the type of person who likes to study in groups. I like to do everything by myself. So I was really shocked to see that I scored high in that area when it came to the results. And also, we were asked to come up with a cover letter and a resume as well for this project. Um, I had a resume on hand that I have been using, but when it came to the cover letter, I didn't have one, so I had to come up with a whole new cover letter. And here's my resume. It's a basic standard resume at the top. There's your name, address, and phone number, and it basically goes down with education, experience, and volunteer work, and then your qualifications and awards and your skills. So it's just a basic standard resume. And I went online to get a better idea of what the cover letter consisted of, and I also used the book as well. And it's just a standard if you can see that it's a standard cover letter, and it just has my name and phone number and stuff, and it also just has the basic 3 paragraphs of what the book stated. You should have no more than 3 paragraphs, and you can either address it to the hiring manager or just the company itself, and make sure to add the address of the company. So yeah, it's just a basic standard cover letter. Don't be calling me, it's my number up there. So and when it comes down to the academic part, in the beginning of the junior year, they give you a what is called an audit sheet, and on the audit sheet it has the courses that you are required to take in your electives, and this is basically what the audit looks like, and it basically tells you what courses up here you need to take or what courses you can take. So that's that, and it's front and back basically. And it has your psychology courses up here, your required courses. So anything that has an X is your required courses. And then here down here is just the electives of which the psychology department offers. And then outside electives, anything that's not a psychology elective, it will go down here. So that's what the blank one looks like. And here's the one that I use, so you can see that it's all scribbled over and marked on, and I write the course credit over here and what the semester that it was completed in. So here it goes. And this basically was my guide throughout my tenure at Central of what courses I needed to take. And this was very helpful in also registering for classes because I already knew what I needed to take. So I just used this as a guide of what courses that I needed to take in order to graduate. So this was very helpful throughout my course. So now that that's over and I've pretty much completed all my requirements, I find myself asking what's next. And I'm truly terrified of what's next because now it's the real world. You have to start being more reliable and dependable within yourself. You can't depend on everyone else to help you at this point. So now here comes the real world. So I'm really terrified about that. Because I don't know what's next. You know, you prepare your whole life for this moment, and now that it's over, it's kind of like, okay, now you need to start a new plan. So my plan now is I'm going to sit out a year. I'm going to try to pay off some of my student loans before I accrue any more. That's a big important factor to me because I don't want to be in debt my entire life. So I figured if I can get my debt halfway down before I go to graduate school, that would be a big plus. For me, I do want to go to graduate school for social work, like I said in the beginning. I'm looking at either UNC Charlotte or UNC Chapel Hill. Both of their programs have weekend classes. So I would be able to work through the week, and then on the weekend I would just go to class. So I feel like that's a big plus for me, and I'm really hoping that I'm able to get into those programs. So that's my next step from here. And also while I'm out, I'm looking to get a couple of certifications and also volunteer a little bit more. My biggest thing is when I interview for the graduate programs and they see that I've been sitting out for a year, they may say, well, what have you been doing? And I want to be able to say that I've been productive. I don't want to be just sitting waiting for the next door to open. So I feel like that's a big thing as well, to be able to be productive and be active while I'm sitting out. Since I've been at Central, they require that you do community service as well. I've done since I was a transfer student, I transferred in from Hampton my sophomore year, going into my junior year. With that being said, I didn't have to have as many transfer credit community service hours that most incoming freshmen would have. So I had a total of 96. My first community service was I did my first 15 hours at the Martin Luther King service day, where they just have different activities that they had the blanket station where they would ask students to make blankets for the children who needed those. They had a bean station, which there were different types of beans, and a cup would go into a plastic bag and they would go off to people who needed food as well. And then they had a coloring station, which was like a coloring book, and it had like all the facial emotions, like the happy, sad, and then it had sight words for those who couldn't afford books. Those would be the alternative books that they would get. So I participated in the Bing station as well as the coloring station. And then I got the rest of my hours at the Durham County Library, which I enjoyed. I truly enjoyed. That was probably by far the best volunteer experiences that I had. I worked within the children unit, and I worked with my supervisors. My supervisor was Anna Cromwell, and she was this very sweet lady. So she gave me the ins and outs of the library. She was very patient with me, and I got to build a relationship with her to the point where she was ecstatic to even offer me a letter of recommendation when I get ready to go off to school and things of that nature. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm thinking about going back after graduation to do more hours there. Because I work in Durham as well, so it'll be easier for me to do my hours there and then go to work. Also, when it comes to awards, I was just recently awarded with the Academic Excellence Award in the psychology department. And basically, what the award is having the highest GPA within the department. I currently sit at a 3.95 GPA, and I hope to hopefully graduate with a 4.0. That's my goal. So hopefully, I can pass everything, and I will be able to graduate with a 4.0. So I'm very excited about that and nervous at the same time. So, and then lastly, when it comes to extracurricular activities, I was honored with being in two clubs. That was the National Society of Leadership and Success and the Tau Sigma, which is a transfer society. And both of those organizations are really well. You have to have a certain GPA to be asked to be invited within the organization. The National Society of Leadership and Success is basically an organization that teaches you how to be a leader and what characteristics you need to have, and if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, what is required of you. And they have different successful people from 500 companies come in and give you web seminars. So that's really good. And then Tau Sigma is basically like a transfer group. You have to have a 3.5, I believe, to get accepted into the organization and maintain that for at least a year before they ask you to be a part of the organization. So that is what I have been doing since I have been at Central. Overall, I truly enjoyed this class. I wish I would have taken it my freshman year because it had a lot of good things that I feel like I should have known, as far as like a mentor, what to look for, how to go about getting one, because I currently still don't have one. So that's a part of my goal too, is to obtain a mentor. So this class was really helpful in getting me prepared for the outside world with my resume, the cover letter, and things like that. So I really enjoyed the class, and I would recommend this class to any incoming freshman because it truly does prepare you for the next step of your life. Again, I thank you for your time and listening to me. You have a wonderful day. Goodbye.